So it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway, do not do this at home.
I've been on the road, I've been doing shows. Now we in the state, remember sleeping on
I
the
need
floor.
a lot of attention to do what I'm doing. Welcome everyone, thank you for tuning in. Ryan, thank you for
Kitchen house, trying to flip it out the stove. Rocking fake J's, praying that nobody knows. Watching take my dog away, it was way too hard to stay composed. Fight to see the light of day, all
Crazy to me that I made that. It only took me 42 minutes to make a drink on stream. Just 42. I don't like short hair, Nico. Bring back the long hair.
Take two. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Now, hopefully, my mic works. Yeah, okay, cool. We've got levels and everything. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I'm live streaming on TikTok as well, but they're only getting it one camera view. This time, I'm not playing video games. This time, I'm back here behind the bar. King Cat, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. This is not a string cheese wrapper that I am not so subtly throwing away. So what we're doing today, we're checking in on the Mead, and we're finally going to rack it. So, disclaimer, there is pretty much a 100% chance that this is going to be gross. That's what I believe to be true. Also, I've never made mead, but I've made beer before a couple times now. And I've made a bunch of different kinds of cider, but I've never made mead, so I don't know if it's a good idea to look at what the top looks like, but it smells good. So far, I may end up eating those words here in a minute. It's very fragrant. TikTok is gonna get to see what the inside of this looks like, but you guys aren't, because I don't have a camera for Twitch that I can move. It smells really good, actually. There's like a lot of juniper berry. Here we go. TikTok. That's what the inside looks like. You can see how the mead has washed down over time. So there's probably a significant amount of yeast cake down there at the bottom. I'm wondering if I should use like a siphon to get the stuff off of the top, or if I should just pull this lever. I feel like using a siphon is going to be better, because ideally you don't want to get as much of that sediment coming up off the bottom. Henry Rankin, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Sierra, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. And Hannah, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for screenshotting. I appreciate it. Those are very helpful on everywhere. Jake, what's up, man? Oh, hello. Hi, hello. What's up? Jake, are you also somehow live streaming on TikTok? All right, well, this is gonna work. I'm gonna have to get my funnel, but I kind of, again, don't do as I do. I'm pretty sure this isn't something you're supposed to do, but I want to see how deep this is. What's the joke that people would say on TikTok? It'd be like, what is that, like 9 inches? That's what that is, right? No, that's probably 4 or 5 inches. There we go, that's sanitary. This is my home bar, disclaimer, by the way, everybody. If anyone's going to give me a hard time about things not being sanitary, I'm pretty much only ever making drinks for myself here. Mr. Top Foxy? Is that what that says? Hi, what's up? I need to know, what kind of hair do you have? Coarse, dark, thick, dense, wiry, wavy hair. What do you like? Where's my family is predominantly from Europe, so it's like maybe Mediterranean. Well, no, my family from Europe is mostly from France, and then after that from Spain. Let me see your toes. How'd you know I was barefoot? That's weird. All right. Human. Hey Cubix, what's up? Oh, thank you for the resub, by the way, earlier. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna grab that bottling siphon. Well, I'm gonna grab the tubing for it anyway, because that's all I need, and then we're gonna see if I can transfer this. And that's all we're doing today. We're just transferring it. It's gonna sit in this for a couple of weeks, or up to. It's probably actually gonna sit in there for a while, and then we're going to transfer it from that into the bottles themselves. Big straw. I'll be right back. Alright, I didn't fully think this through. I do sort of need to be able to see in the top of that thing, so I'm probably not going to need the second bucket. Unnecessary movement. Okay. Alright, I'm wondering if there's a way I can get this to show up better on camera too. Whoop, how's that Twitch chat? Shot 30, oh. If you insist. This is the kind of thing that's gonna get me banned on TikTok, by the way, drinking on camera. Need to change up the chalk background and add the logo. I can't draw that well. I wish I do fine, but not well enough to do any of my own graphics. Like, that's what I scrawled up there. What am I gonna take a shot of? Whoop. Could I do? Woo. Ah. When you almost get it all in glass. Oh no, don't do it then. No, it's too late now. What's done is done. For reasons, this is sweet tea. No, I'm kidding. Guys, raise a glass. Thank you for tuning in. You don't have to have a glass. And if you do have a glass, you don't have to have alcohol in it. But thank you guys for tuning in and making this possible. I do appreciate it. Here's to you. Cheers. I just wanted to... That's fair. That's real love right there, guys. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Alright, what do you guys, Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, what do you guys want? Camera 3 or camera 2? Camera 3 or camera 2? Camera 1 or camera 2? I would imagine camera... We'll do picture in picture. I feel like that's the safest thing we could do. There we go. Now you got this ugly mug, and you can watch what's going on over here. Camera 3 from Henry. How dare you, sir? Jesse Norman, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Crotch. You can't see my crotch. Not if I hide it behind my camera 1 panel. Alright. So really quick explanation of how siphons work in case anyone's wondering, because no one's asked, but that's okay. Basically, if the volume here is higher than the output here, then you can basically let gravity take over, and that causes it to flow to where it's at lower altitude or lower concentration. I think lower altitude is supposed to be the word. If you've ever stolen somebody's gas, you've probably done this. So this is gonna look gross for a minute. There we are. Also, obviously, that's not sanitary. I'm not saying you should do as I do. I would show you guys that it's coming out, but the siphon will stop working if I take this. If I lift it up higher than where the siphon starts, it won't work. Oh, no, no, no! This is why having clear piping is very important, so you can see the sediment when it's traveling through your line. Yeah, I may have to just try to manually filter this. In which case, I don't necessarily need this. Make sure to get both ends in the sink if you're not going to do that. But that means I do need this bucket back. Okay. Good. Now everyone can see. Except you, TikTok. Except you. Too many air bubbles. Yeah, it's the whole, like, all of the liquid was traveling way too slowly, just in general. Alright, Sam, if you're watching this, I apologize in advance. If you guys don't know who I'm talking about Sam making mead. That's his profile. Maybe if we just let it drip slowly. There we go. Can you guys, I feel like it's not going to show up on camera. You get a little bit of it on camera too. Barely. That little trickle right there. That's what you guys get. TikTok, since you guys can't see the rest of chat and the other cameras and everything. That's what the inside of it looks like right now. Thank you. I'm going to try and open this up a little bit more. Now, if I was really smart, I would have some sort of filter right there to keep the sediment from going in there. But, as we all know, I'm not very smart, so I didn't do that. You need a haircut, Logic. Boss, what's up, man? Snowy Moo, what's up? What type of mead? That is a very good question. It is a mead. I don't know specifically if it's a melomel or anything like that because I didn't keep track. It's made entirely of honey. It's fermented with Premier Blanc yeast, and as far as I'm aware, all of the sugar has been converted to alcohol. So it's meant to be dry. It's still very cloudy though, which is not really what you want. It should clear up a little bit as secondary fermentation continues. He mentioned the sanitation portion of all this. The one unsanitary thing that I did was mouth starting the siphon, but besides that, I mean, yeah, you don't want contact with wild air. But here I'm not necessarily super worried about it. This smells good, but it smells like soap. It smells like the way that I would want to smell when I walk out of the shower. So as far as the extra botanic, what is wild? Wild air is just air. It's probably not a specific term. Wild air is what I call it when it's any air that I don't have control over. So if it's not coming out of a CO2 canister or a nitrogen canister, then it's wild air. You just mean air? Yeah, I just mean air. What kind of bottles are you going to use for it? From Panzer. Oh, welcome. Thank you for tuning back in on YouTube. I appreciate it. I'm using crown cap bottles. I probably should use swing top bottles, but here we are. Interesting. Gotta use that organic air. Yeah, that organic, free range, wild caught, grass fed, non-violent air. Vegan air. Get yourself some domesticated air. Yeah, fair enough. I'm surprised nobody commented on camera too. You can see the logo here. I guess because it doesn't automatically focus, it'd be kind of hard to tell who that is. Womp womp. It shouldn't be a huge deal as long as you're not reactivating the yeast. Yeah, man, and you probably sort of maybe want to at this point. I don't know if the yeast has anything left to ferment beyond bottling. I'm racking the mead as a formality because I want the mead to be clear when I bottle it. And in order for that to happen, you need to let all that sediment and stuff settle down to the bottom. I did notice the fancy apron, lots of little bits on it. So the consensus is, I got this when I was on Crown Channel when they featured me on Fight Night. Which is a gaming thing, not like a violent thing. This is an apron that was made in a partnership with Lagavulin and Nick Offerman, the guy who plays Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec. If you guys have seen, that's like his most well-known role. It was made in that partnership, that's why his face is on it. But the sort of consensus that we've reached is that this was probably designed from a template meant to be a carpenter's apron, because that's what Nick Offerman does by trade. That's what he's trained to do, if I recall correctly. Upper atmosphere air? I don't know. Air in a vacuum. How long does it have to sit after? As long as it takes. As long as it takes me to remember that I did this. But this yeast up here, I would get yelled at for this. But that yeast has been in primary fermentation for 7 months. I think, if I recall correct. I think it's 7 months. 6 months. Wait. 8 months. It's been in primary fermentation for 8 months, when it probably should have been 2. So that's why I believe there's probably no more sugar or anything in there left for the yeast to kill, or the ABV must be high enough that the yeast is dead. It's really, those are the only two things that could happen. I sparkle mead at home, so I add a little extra sugars to the bottle early to get that nice carbonation. Yeah, there's two, I wish I had priming cubes, but so I actually have to make priming sugar, which is not hard. I just have to basically make simple syrup so that whatever yeast is still left in the solution ferments a little bit in the bottle, and as it's releasing carbon dioxide, because it has nowhere to escape and the pressure builds up in the bottle, that carbon dioxide goes into solution in the mead and causes it to be carbonated. It's the same process we used when we made the beer. That's longer than I've worked at my current job. 8 months? Any tips for becoming a bartender aside from the classic start as a barback? It depends. Start as a server. No, I'm kidding. Stick around. If you want some information to get it from a reputable source, normally I don't recommend going to a bartending school, and that's not what I'm about to recommend to you here. But you can get a WSET certification in spirits that could help you transition into bartending, and I think you can test into level 2 without having to test for the level 1. But in order to find that stuff, you have to look up WSET chapters in your area, which is it's Wine and Spirits Education Trust, I think is what it stands for, but it's the most widely recognized accredited certificate for that, though typically it does end up being used more for people on the sales end of it, meaning sales reps and stuff like that for brands and companies. They tend to get WSET certifications more so than bartenders. But if you're looking for a certification that will teach you a lot of stuff, that would be one that I would recommend. They also have wine. They have another certification for wine, and they have another certification for sake. Tall Piece, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. How's it going? And then, aside from that, I would recommend being friends with other bartenders, because bartenders typically know places that are hiring. And if you're looking for a place to start, I would recommend a small neighborhood, individually owned bar with a budding cocktail program. Maybe one that's just serving some classics. Starting at a wine bar that serves hard liquor is a pretty good place to start. Wine Set Spirits? WSET, but it's wine, it stands for Wine and Spirits Education Trust, I think. Or Enrichment? I don't remember. Love your videos, man, on TikTok. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, have we done it? Am I gonna stand on this rickety table live for posterity? There's still a little bit in there, but not much. This is a really technical step that we like to call tilting. It's a step I normally reserve for when I'm playing Halo or Destiny 2. Get tilted. We're just oxidizing the mead. That's what we're doing. We're getting that yeast nice and woken up again. Hello on YouTube. Hi Jake, what's up? Thank you for double dipping and watching on TikTok and YouTube. I appreciate it. Oh, I was just thinking, oh man, it's gonna taste like gin, and then I was like, yeah, of course it's gonna taste like gin. I added like a bunch of juniper berries in there. Dehydrated juniper berries. There's juniper berries and wormwood in this one, I think. Juniper berries, wormwood, dehydrated lemon, and orange rind, I think. Yee. Thank you, Jake. How's that sound for everybody? Do we like the ASMR dripping? After 8 months, they'd be hydrated again, right? If they're not hydrated, they'd definitely be drunk. If only I was a little bit taller. If only I was a baller. Yeah, I can see a lot of sediment still coming out of this. I feel like I'm gonna let it drip like this until it stops, but I'm gonna have to transfer it again, probably through like a coffee filter or just like a regular fine mesh filter. Okay, good enough for me. There we go. I'll do my best to show. If you're like a little bit squeamish, you maybe don't want to look at this for the record. I'm going to show it to Twitch and YouTube first, because you guys got to see it first last time. We'll do camera 2. Yeah, there we go. If you've ever, so if there's anyone maybe like Latin in chat, it kind of looks like ropa vieja. To me, anyway. That's what it looks like to me. It's just brown and kind of like sludgy. I can turn it over here, give you guys a look. There we go. I can't show you guys Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook what this liquid looks like now, but I can show TikTok. There we go. See? Just looks a lot cleaner, a lot more homogeneous. It's still a little bit hazy, like I said, because there's still a lot of sediment that made it through. Ideally, you just let it sit like that. The sediment settles to the bottom. Maybe it ferments a little bit more sugar, and then you kind of do the same process into a bottling bucket or a priming bucket to add that sugar so that you can put it in your bottles, unless you have like a bottling starter or like a priming cube or something. You need more lighting for Twitch, by the way. Super dark. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. I know why. That's a few more lights. I have no idea if this is gonna work. That's a little bit more light. Do you take apprenticeship? Do I take apprenticeship? No. I wouldn't know how to if I did, to be honest, but I'm always open to just answering questions. I also don't, and you shouldn't think that I am, I don't want to pretend to be an arbiter of any of the information that I put out there. This is fully, like, experimental for me. I've made cider and beer and stuff before, but I don't know how this is going to turn out. So yeah, don't take my word as gospel on anything that I say. Always do your own research. It's my birthday. Oh, happy birthday! Georgie, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Alright, that's gonna get hosed down elsewhere. And luckily it smells good, so I don't have to move it very far. I have like an extra table down here that I've kept hidden from everybody. Okay. I'm trying not to breathe directly into this thing. No, in drinks. Same thing. I don't really, I don't take apprenticeship because I also feel like on top of the whole, like, no, it's not necessarily that I don't believe that I'm a reputable source. I don't think anybody is. There's so much knowledge out there in theory around like cocktails and mixology and apocryphal history and stuff that we've just kind of lost to time. And there's a lot of like he said, she said. So like whatever you would have to learn from me. I like training people for specific places because then I know what the expectations are. But as far as just like training people and then sending you out in the wild with whatever it is that I taught you, that's not really necessarily a good system. But if you, I mean, like I'll answer questions for any sort of specific circumstances, even if it's just like, hey, I want some bottles behind my bar. What are like 12 that I can start with that will allow me to make as many different kinds of cocktails as possible? And to that I would say, don't do that. You're gonna waste a lot of money and you're gonna have a lot of stuff that sits up on your shelves. And liquor doesn't necessarily go bad, but why would you, like, what, if you don't like gin, why would you go out and get yourself, like, a fifth of Bombay Sapphire to, like, maybe one day, hopefully, eventually make a martini that probably won't taste good if you've never made one for yourself? I don't know. I would recommend instead that you find a classic cocktail, like 3 or 4 ingredients that you already know and enjoy. Master it at home by buying those 4 ingredients, focus just on those before you, like, branch out and build up a collection. But anyway, that's sort of like the stuff that I typically answer online. That are tweaking cocktails for certain restaurants, tweaking cocktails for certain competitions. Not... I would never give anyone any advice that would rob them of the authorship they had over whatever it is that they're making. So, like, the advice that I give typically is if someone gives me a recipe, I'll say, like, is that enough lengthener? Or you have no sweetener? Or, like, how it just feels like it would be too sweet. Did you add any citrus? That sort of stuff. Citrus or acidity. You don't have to use citrus anymore. We've evolved. Do you have a good recipe for a chocolate creamy drink? It's not my recipe. There's a classic recipe for a chocolate cocktail from the Savoy Cookbook, I believe, called... is it called the Savoy Cook? I don't have it. I've only ever glanced at it. But it's called the chocolate cocktail. It's yellow chartreuse, a whole egg white, and cocoa. Or a whole egg and cocoa, shaken. And then strained, served up in a Nicanora. There. That one. If you don't mind eggs in your stuff. Mudslides, aka my weakness. I don't think I've ever had a mudslide. That's the wildest air there is. The wildest air is flammable air. Do I have anything that I could make? Maybe I'll just drink a beer. Maybe I'll take it easy today. I'm already gonna get a bunch of stuff dirty, so if you have yellow shirt, yeah, that's another thing too. Do I have yellow chartreuse? Nope. Okay. Oh, there's that. Fine then. Another creamy recipe. Chocolatey creamy recipe. There's there's like a dark chocolate recipe for an old fashioned that I made that's it's similar kind of to the way, if you go to Nick Hamilton's page, he created a drink that he's called he and his community have called the Café Rouge, which is very similar to an old fashioned style drink that I made, except I used Godiva dark chocolate liqueur and he used Mr. Black coffee liqueur. And I don't have a red wine float on top of mine. What did I call mine? My cocktail? No, it's not. I have a handwritten cocktail book. It is not down here. But I think it was bourbon, dark chocolate, Averna, Amaro, orange bitters, and Demerara syrup. I think I probably used rich Demerara syrup, but that just means that there was less water content in mine, that's all. Put chocolate in a glass, then Irish cream. Oh, that's the mudslide. I don't think any of my Irish cream is still good anymore, to be honest, because I don't really ever use it. What if I made, hold on. Shout outs to Angry Lilith and Seabug for this bottle of Liquor 43. There we go. Name's still preserved there. I'll show that to everybody on TikTok. Fun fact, if you're new to the Twitch live streams or the live streams in general, whenever somebody donates over a certain amount, it's been a while since it's happened, but I think if anyone donates over $100, which even that also includes like if you donate 20 subs, the reason it's 100 is because Amazon keeps half of it. But if you do that, then you can request a specific bottle up to whatever half the amount was that you donated. So like if you did donate $100 or donated 20 subs, you could ask for up to a $50 bottle of liquor, and then I'll put your name on it, and then I'll clear coat over it so that I don't accidentally smudge it. We've got that one. There's a bottle of Pink Whitney from Loriander, and then there's a bottle of Woodford from Stopper currently, I think. I don't know if it's a mudslide. I just enjoy the drink. That's fair. I need 2 cream liqueurs to finish this, and I need to turn on my espresso machine, so I'm sorry if it gets loud. I need to plug in my espresso machine, so I'm sorry that I lied. That was crazy. Have y'all ever gotten like a single hair stuck in an outlet? That felt very weird. I'm surprised it didn't burn. Anyway, I'll be right back. There's 2 bottles I need to grab out of the fridge. Okay. So first let me make sure I have enough water in my machine. There we go. Should give that a minute to heat up. Probably. Terry's Cocoa Orange or the Barista Martini. Those are the only Yeah, it's the Terry Cocoa Orange. But apparently there's another, like, I named it after that because I couldn't think of what the other one was, but there's like a common, like chocolate and orange candy, I guess, in the UK. I'm familiar with Terry, so I named it after that one, but there's like another much more common one that's like a biscuit. But this looks very similar. Oh, I'm making the Barista Martini. Don't have any of the shakers that well, I don't have my favorite one. It's dirty right now. Paper towel. There we go. This is the real reason your bartender doesn't want you to order an espresso martini. It takes time. And anyone who tells you that you can batch espresso ahead of time does not love you. The reason, but I'm not just gonna leave that out there hanging. The reason that that's not true is because espresso by design isn't homogeneous. One of the main differences between espresso and drip coffee or cold brew coffee or really any other way that coffee is produced is that it's under pressure and heat. So that pressure extracts oils. Those oils, if you leave them over time, do separate. So the top of your solution is a different concentration from the bottom of your solution, which means that they also taste different. So you could try to do it, and you could just try to shake it before every time that you use it. But I feel like at that point you're really splitting hairs. You could just get someone behind the bar that can rip shots very, very quickly from the espresso machine, not from shot glasses. Or you could have bartenders who just remember to shake that thing every single time. But as someone who's worked behind the bar, I can tell you, like, we'll take as many shortcuts as we can get away with. Seba got a really nice tool for smoothing and tamping. Is it one of those that's like the wire whisk that goes in there? Or is it like the flattening tamping thing? Or is it the dispersion filter that goes on top? I've seen so many like really cool coffee gadgets. I can't reasonably get any of them. Cool. That probably tastes fine. So, I'm gonna do a ½ ounce of each of these liqueurs. So a ½ ounce of that Bailey's. ½ ounce of Godiva chocolate liqueur. This is their milk chocolate liqueur, not their dark chocolate or their white chocolate. Actually, we'll do this one. A ½ ounce of our liquor 43. And then we're gonna do an 1.5 ounces vanilla vodka. If you don't have vanilla vodka, you can use regular vodka. If you don't like vanilla vodka, but you still want something sweet, you can use, I believe there's like whipped cream flavored vodka out there. I know there's whipped cream flavored vodka, but you can use whipped cream, or I think sometimes there's also marshmallow flavored. You can use either of those two. You are going back in the fridge. Right? Okay, cool. So this is going to be our glassware. This is going to be where I put the ice. See how comical I can make this long pour. There we go. That got dicey there for a minute. Snap it together. Ideally, it shouldn't sound like you've just dropped a pan on like a hardwood floor. There we go. We're gonna use this strainer. The reason for the long pour, you could say it's to aerate the cocktail. You could say it's to cool it down as it travels through the air. Or any number of different things. In reality, it's I do it so that I can check the color and consistency of the cocktail as it's entering the glass. Just in case. Like if it comes out and the cocktail is like the wrong color, then I can go, oh shoot, hold on, let me fix this. But yeah, that's the Barista Martini. You could put 3 espresso beans on top if you wanted to. Let me see what I like to do. Where is this? Is it behind me? It is behind me. Get some espresso grounds ready. If you wanted to be super artful about this, you could get a stencil to put over the top. If you don't have a stencil, just be very careful. I'm just making this for myself, so it doesn't super duper matter. It's just really nice to create that divide, sort of the decision. Let your guests decide for themselves whether they want that extra coffee note on the nose or not. And then I hate wasting, but unfortunately I do have to dump the rest of that out. And there you have it. You can also do the same thing with cocoa, but here's another creamy cocktail that you can make for yourself at home. If you don't have all those ingredients, you can make the same thing with 2 parts vodka, regular vodka, and then use 1 part of, I would recommend, liquor 43, and then probably some cold brew coffee will get you pretty close to this, but cheers. Cheers, guys. Let's see how it tastes. Hey, cheers. Oh, that's so good. It's like, I don't really get the coffee so much, which is probably because of the way that I pulled the shot. But it's almost like perfect chocolate milk. Woo! Sometimes you don't need to do flair. I was about to just grab this up off the thing and whip it around my shoulder. Well, it's empty that time. This door won't close. Why not? Oh. There we go. Problem solved. I don't think he's paying attention to chat. I can't read all of chat. You guys are like, I want to say 3.5 feet away from my face. And it's white text on a white bar for me. Sent whipped coffee. Oh, I've made whipped coffee for a cocktail competition at one point. That's the only time that I'm familiar with it though at all. There's a question from somebody else about streaming something else. Oh, how's the streaming going? Thanks for asking. It's going really well. I'm imagining a little template of you silhouette of a good hair day, thick glasses, maybe facial hair. I feel like that was like a fad in my brain in the early 2000s. I felt like a decade ago. there's a fad of like content creators who would just have like silhouetted images of, and like there were a bunch of guys who would have like a twirly mustache and like thick rimmed glasses and then like slicked back hair. I don't want that brand for myself. But I feel like maybe something like the way the coin looks currently, the coin logo, some sort of silhouette of that. Which also feels weird. Having my face on any kind of, even if it's like fictional currency, just feels bizarre. What hair type? Tell me. What? I don't know how to answer that question for you. What do you mean? Like Mediterranean? Or like, do you want me to just, my hair is coarse, wiry, thick, dense, and dark. So, are we getting married or, not yet, but I am in a committed relationship. Thank you for asking, though. That's more polite than just, I don't know, asking to ride my glasses or whatever. The angle's very different between TikTok and Twitch. So Twitch gets all of this with my hair like falling down, so I kind of look like I mean, I always look like a mess, but has someone actually said that? Yeah, and like way worse. I feel like the weirdest thing anyone's ever asked me during a live stream. You know what, maybe I can't say that during when I'm live on TikTok. We'll talk about it in Discord. Lucky, actually. Oh, man. Can you make a porn star martini? I don't have any passion fruit syrup. I feel like there's something else that I'm missing as well. But no, I don't have any passion fruit syrup. What's the Discord? If you go over to my profile, all of my links and stuff are there. And if the Discord link doesn't work, just let me know. I'll update it in a minute. Or, not in a minute. I'll update it when I'm done with my live stream. Otherwise, everyone's just going to watch the top half of my head while I try, because my laptop's down here. Or, if you're watching on Twitch, you could use the chat commands to find where the Discord server is. Favorite drink to make? I like making Manhattan's, daiquiris, cold brew coffee, and lattes. I like Manhattans and daiquiris because I think they're the two simplest forms of a refreshing shaken cocktail, which is what you have in the daiquiri, and a boozy stirred cocktail, which is what you have with an old-fashioned. And they're really easy to sort of like manipulate and use certain substitutions, or a little bit more of this, a little bit less of something else, to get it exactly the right flavor profile and texture and everything for whatever mood you're in. So really, either of those two will work for cocktails. And I like making lattes and cold brew coffee because I can't like wake up and make myself, I could wake up and make it myself in Manhattan, but I'm not going to do that. I just remembered I'm so limited usefulness. That's fair. I feel like most of the time, like people who tune in on Twitch are probably already in the Discord. Most of the people on the Twitch watching on Twitch are probably in the Discord. Shot 30. From Hannah? Sure. I have this espresso martini in front of me, but I could do a shot. I thought an old-fashioned were overrated. I don't think necessarily that they're overrated. I think everyone has like done their own version of it into the ground. So like an old-fashioned is one of those things where like everyone has a certain way that they want to order their their martinis. Every bartender has a certain way they think like you should make an old-fashioned. Even I myself included, but like my trick is typically to use like alternative sweetening agents depending on what I'm working with. So like something with a higher turbidity than simple syrup. So like you could use turbinado syrup. Demerara syrup has probably the ideal turbidity, but if you're working with something lighter like a bourbon instead of a rye, then you want something a little bit darker. And I actually like using maple syrup in my... But anyway, so that's the point. Like every bartender has like a whole spiel about how you should make old fashions. I don't think that they're overrated. I think they're just played out. I could do a shot of Bacardi Superior. So they didn't have a fifth of this, so I had to get a handle. I don't even know if you could see that on TikTok. Flair with a full handle. The dumbest bottle I've ever done. There are two. I'll show them to you really quickly. Mostly because I'm scared of taking this shot right now. So give me 1 second. No, that's a fun one. These two are probably the hardest ones that I've ever had to do Flair with. And they're both empty, so I'm not going to waste anything here. And I'm not going to try and hoodwink you. I don't actually have any Don Julio 1942. This is an empty bottle that I bought and didn't acquire illegally and should have and am 100% allowed to have. This one's, it's just hard to do because it's not balanced the way that other bottles are. It's balanced the way that you would expect something like a baseball bat to be balanced. So like, oh God, it doesn't travel the way you would expect a bottle to travel, where it spins sort of around its shoulders. This one moves kind of like a pitch. So everything follows the bottom of the bottle. And then this one's just hard because it's lighter than the other ones, but it's hard because it's so wide. So like if I screw up and I can't get the ends of my fingers all the way around to this bottle, if I'm passing it back behind me, it could drop and it could shatter. I've done a few movements with this one successfully so far, so I'm not going to push my luck. I'm going to put these away now. Thank you for coming to my show and tell. I can't hear the music. I always wonder what you guys are listening to on my live stream. Shouldn't have worked. Alright. Cool. Raise them if you got them. You don't have to have a glass, and if you do have a glass, you do not have to have alcohol in it, but thank you guys for tuning in, making this possible. Here's to you. Cheers. Thanks for the rack focus over there. Automatic focus on camera 2. Don't make a face. Did I? I feel like I'm more likely to make a face when I'm drinking coffee, ironically. Doubt it. You gonna put some caps on those speed pours? Nah. I'll show you where I keep my caps though. Keep them in this little shot glass. If I have something that I think is like probably going to attract a lot of flies, which by the way, just by happy accident, we don't have many down here. I think in my bottles I've only ever caught 2, and we've had this bar down here for 2 years. Why no caps? Like tequila. Oh well, my tequila's not open right now for one. But we don't really have an issue with flies, and even with these bottles open, most of them are more than about half full, so they're probably good for like 2 years. And we go through things very quickly here, except for on that side behind me. Those are all of my cordials and liqueurs. If there's anything I'm really worried about, I don't even put it back here. I'll keep it in the fridge. So you've probably noticed there's no vermouth behind me. Even Amaro that's made from wine, like Cardamaro, I don't keep on this shelf. I keep that stuff in the fridge. Cream liqueurs, vermouth, any bottles that are lower than half that I think will probably attract flies if I don't have the top for it. But yeah, I try and keep everything under control. That's pretty ironic, him being a bartender. Wait, what's ironic? Not putting caps on the bottles? Also, I'm mostly making drinks for myself. If I'm making stuff for like family or for a party, if we're having a party down here, I'll buy all new bottles of different stuff. For that specifically. And then I'll charge them. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. Did I put a speed pour in my liquor 43? No, I did not. See, that's another one. That one's actually high in sugar. This is going to have to be reused in the secondary fermentation. Imagine if everyone had as many opinions on it as bartenders. Bartenders are very opinionated people. No one will give you... No one is a bartender's harsher critic than another bartender. Which is kind of unfortunate. Makes it hard to find common ground sometimes. Ooh, actually, let me put some water in this thing. It doesn't even need that much. Alright, how am I going to transfer this thing? I've got a funnel and I've got a fine strainer, but I don't feel like my fine strainer is actually going to pull anything out of this. I would use a coffee filter, but I feel like if I do, it's going to take forever. I will forever use the matte black speed pours. I only have 2. And I only have 2 because the same company sent me like a duplicate package. It was from Ron Cologne, the ironically the coffee infused overproof rum. Do you like Jack Daniels? Jack Daniels is fine. It's just fine. I mean, it's like, I don't know. The same people who like Jack Daniels instead of like any other kind of whiskey are the kinds of people who probably prefer vodka to gin. And that's fine. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. It's just like, it's not for me. I would rather have more flavors and things in my whiskeys. Favorite video games. Typically, so the video games I come back to playing most often are, well, I mean, it used to be World of Warcraft, but I haven't played that, I think, in just over a year. I played Shadowlands when it launched, got to the end of that on, like, 3 characters, and then once Chains of Domination kept not coming out, I just never played the game again. I'm excited about the leak for 10.0 though, regardless of how that ends up coming out. And I've been playing a lot of Halo Infinite. When I'm not playing Halo Infinite, I'm typically playing New World. When I'm not playing New World, I'll play Valheim. And when I'm not playing Valheim, I might play something like Destiny 2. Bro, there's a fly. Where? Where is the fly? from watching these dudes to doing their job. What do you mean? I actually want some water. And I'm gonna bring my dirty glassware upstairs. I'll be right back, guys. I just realized there's a light that's not on. Little teacup in my little tea and coffee corner. These are clean from dish upstairs. You and bar chemistry, y'all made so much inspiring content. Oh, thank you. It's funny you should say that because I think we may be collaborating on, well, not calling it a collaboration between the two of us specifically wouldn't be accurate. But we may be going to Tales with a Cocktail on a panel together, specifically about TikTok, but in a larger sense, like social media. How to be a bartender without working in a bar anymore, and how exactly, like, what exactly that means, how to have your own revenue streams, bartending, like, for yourself, and answering questions. Mostly it's going to be about answering questions because it's a panel. Ooh, two more. And that's gonna have to go. And that should go. And these three. I'm curious now. I want to see if I can strain any solids out of this thing. This is probably not a good idea because, granted, it's not 6 gallons, thank God for that. That's probably 2 gallons, which is not going to fit in here, but hopefully it'll give us an idea of whether or not we'll be able to strip any more of the sediment. And maybe wake up some of that yeast. Nope, absolutely not. I think we got there's like a little pip of something that might have at one point been a juniper berry. The fly is annoying me. Where is the fly? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if there's a fly down here, it's probably attracted to the mead. Which is not ideal for me. I really don't want to have to try and fish a fly out of here. What could we name? Hold on. You've broken me. What would I like to be called? Coin Trick, or Nico. I'll answer to any of those things. It's probably settled a lot while just sitting there. That's true. But there's some stuff that looks like maybe like flakes of the skin of the juniper berries and things like that, and I would rather try and strip those away now because I don't think they're going to settle to the bottom. I do have another bucket which is clean. I just don't know if I can sort of cobble together like a filter that will actually work. I could use a coffee filter, but a coffee filter would be too fine. Oh wait, hold on. There's like one of everything in my bar. There's not one of everything in my bar actually, it just feels like that sometimes. Aha! This. I don't know why I'm out of breath. This is something called a super bag. So it's a not semi-permeable. It's a permeable membrane. It's the kind of thing that you would use to make like almond milk or sometimes cold brew coffee. I've used these to make cold brew coffee. I don't super duper like them because I feel like the pores aren't fine enough, but they should be fine enough to capture all of the leaves and bits of sediment and stuff that's still in here. So let me see if I can fashion it to the other bucket. No. It's fine. I mean, I could hold it on the side or I could try to... How much do I trust the system to work? The other thing is I don't want to make a bigger mess when I take this off of this thing. So I think I may just tie a simple knot here. And we'll do what our ancestors did. We'll pray that it works. Alright, round one. Well, in any case, I feel much better about this capturing any sediment than the other filter that I had. Okay, let me see. If I do this on camera 1, yeah, you guys can see it. Alright, so that's what we're going to look at. Ah! Lord, forgive me. Now, if you've been watching the live stream the entire time, and you remember when we were initially transferring this from primary fermentation to secondary fermentation, you might be thinking to yourself, man, he could have done that the entire time. That filter could have been there the entire time. And if you're thinking that, then you are absolutely correct. I could have definitely just had the filter there the entire time and we could have skipped like 3 steps. But here we are, and this is how we learn. I'm not proud of it. There we go. See, the proof is in the pudding. Or in this case, it's in that sludge right there. Imagining everybody who's like, it's their first time here on the live stream. It's weird. I thought he was going to be like ripping shots or making cocktails. He just ended up shaking this weird bag the entire... Look at that! That's like sand! Oh, you can't see it. Sorry. It's like sand. I can like touch it. I can squeeze it. Oh, here's another nice thing about using a super bag. This is why it's different from like a grain bag or bread bag or a pillowcase. You can squeeze this and squeeze all that stuff out. Ooh, my strap fell off. Alright. You now also have to get cleaned. Hand wash only, or can you? Oh, you can wash them. Yeah, you can run them through a machine. The difference is that these you can run through a dishwasher, not. I mean, you want to. Okay, good. I feel much better now that I know that all of that stuff isn't in here. Now, now I need to. Now I need to put it in a fermenting vessel. I could use the lid to this, but if I do that, I don't have a burp valve that fixes to the lid of this thing. I could do that. I don't have enough time to sanitize the 7.5 gallon fermenter today at all. So that means I have to grab a secondary fermentation vessel from dry storage. So give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. If any of you are following along at home, I totally didn't just almost entirely eat shit and waste everything all over the floor over there. I survived. There we go. Everything's heavy now. There we go. Favorite anime? Currently, by the way, if someone's probably going to point this out, I have a lazy eye. I know about it. Favorite anime? Currently, I've like serially watched a bunch of isekai anime, like with a few exceptions. Like I watch One Piece. I'm fully caught up on One Piece, the anime, not the manga, because I have a child, so I don't have any free time. And besides like the isekai anime that I watch, I think probably my favorite one so far has been that time I was reincarnated as a slime, but it's not currently on the air after its second season. I'm pretty positive it's been renewed for a third season. So I've been watching, I watched Jobless Reincarnation the other day, but I'm not super duper into it anymore. I watched Dragon Blood, the Dota anime adaptation from Netflix. I don't know, I just don't think I have a favorite. Sword Art Online, I've watched it. It's not my favorite. It's very hit or miss. For me personally. Okay. Let's not make a mess. It's working! The plus side of this is that the bucket gets lighter. We've been making like fermented ramen eggs to add to our ramen. It's very nice. Really, I feel like I've never really been into any kind of fermented food. I always forget where the fill line is on this thing, so I think I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna grab another one of these 1 gallon containers. I also have to grab another one of these guys, and I have to grab a seal that actually fits. Here we go. Remember when I said there's a little bit of everything at the bar? There's not, but sometimes it really does feel like there is.
that's gonna need more in there. Also, I feel like bottling from a clear container is going to be easier. I've only ever bottled from plastic and steel containers. And the reason that's difficult is because you can't see the thing that you're bottling, so you don't know where the bottom is. Please don't tell me I'm going to have to grab another one of these things. Come on. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Alright, now I gotta sanitize these guys. Not right now, though. We're not doing that right now. The soy sauce makes them pretty salty. That's the line. Ah! There we go. Put these on here so that those plungers don't actually come out. And then we label them. We actually don't have a name for this mead, so if anyone has a really funny pun, even if it doesn't make me laugh now, it might make me laugh in 4 weeks when I look at this again. What's happening? From Andon from Walmart. And Yee, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We are transferring a mead that I've been fermenting for, in my head, I always want to say almost a year, but this has been fermenting for 8 months. We're transferring it into secondary fermentation. As you can see, all this stuff has been aerated. That's hopefully going to wake the yeast up a little bit here. If it's active, it'll be bubbling, I think, in 24 to 48 hours. I won't know that because I'm not going to be here tomorrow, but I may be here the day after. If I have an update for you, it's probably going to be in the Discord and on Instagram. So yeah, we're just transferring these to secondary fermentation before we can bottle them. Once it's bottled, then we can... Hannah wants me to call it mediocre. That's my girlfriend, everybody. But it's a pun. Sorry, she's not trying to... Well, she's overtly trying to throw me under the bus. I think that's a good one. But it would be M-E-A-D. Mediocre. It needs a few more weeks. I feel like you're mismeeting the pun here. Have you ever heard about Serbian rakia? Yeah. It's and I'm probably mispronouncing that, by the way. But yes, I've heard of it. I've just never seen it spelled out. Shot 30-ish. That's optimistic, I feel like. Is it? Oh, no, actually, that's right, mathematically. Okay. Mediocrity. There we go. That's much better. Mead. Yeah. Crit. T. It's never gonna fit on a label, and that's okay, because I'm never gonna sell this to anybody. It might be poison. So today is... Whoa. That's weird. I guess that makes sense. What year is it? What month is it? It's January, okay. Why am I putting the year on here? Anyway. Yeah, 1/20/2028. That's never going to be confusing. If anyone wants to see how terrible my penmanship is, there. Camera 2 is going to get a better angle with this, I feel like. It's not that bad. I can read it. You might call it mediocre handwriting, which is totally not a pun I just stole from my girlfriend that she gave me 5 seconds ago if you're tuning in just now. Side note, behave. Okay, I'm going to keep these up on the bar for a minute. I can't keep them up here for the next live stream because there's a window right here, and I want to prevent any natural light from hitting this. Also, the temperature in this room does kind of fluctuate a little bit. There's a room over there, the dry storage, that I keep calling dry storage, that sometimes we also call the lab. There's just no cameras there. I should take pictures of that. I feel like you guys might enjoy that. There are some pictures of what the lab looks like on Instagram if you want to check that out. But I'm going to put it over there. There's no windows. It's concrete walls. It's insulated even from the house. So it's like you could get away with murder in that room. I don't know that from experience legally. It's definitely legible. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. But for now, I am going to leave these up here. Just if you don't see them on the next live stream, I probably didn't break them. I definitely didn't drink them. And this has to go to dish. And this has to go in the trash. And I'm bringing this pencil home with me. Alright. Hannah has asked for shot 30. Let's sign it real quick. So it's one of those, like, it's a catch-22 with alcohol. Sometimes you feel fine, and in your head you're like, you know what, I feel alright. I could probably do another shot, and I would still be okay. But you never know which is going to be the one that sends you over the edge. The one that makes you, like, black out, and then, like, you don't remember driving home, which is terrifying. You keep saying dish, and I know you mean kitchen, but old habits die hard. I can't not do it. I am looking at under-counter dishwashers to put down here, but we're not going to get something like that until probably, like, March. We're also actively... Did I pack it? I might have packed the designs that we have so far, but we're designing a new back bar for the new bar after the move. Or if we don't move, it's going to be for this bar. And basically, the main thing that's going to change, many things are going to change. I don't know why I said that. But the first thing, the thing that the entire bar is being designed around, is that this sign, TikTok, I'll show you what this sign says, for no reason other than I want to make sure you understand what I'm getting at here. This sign, which is mirrored on TikTok for some reason, we're going to replace it with the harp of an upright piano. The harp, by the way, is basically, or I don't know if it's actually called the harp, so somebody in chat correct me if I'm wrong. It's the piece, the metal harness in the back that holds all of the wires taut, or the cords, wires, whatever you want to call them, for the hammers to strike when you're playing an upright piano. I call it the harp. We have one, but it's from the first piano I ever tuned, actually. We have that harp because in a fit of manic existentialism, I decided to tear the piano apart after I tuned it. Well, because like it was also... Anyway, that's a story for another time. But so we have the harp still. My brother and Jacob salvaged it. The problem is that this distance is like 38 inches. And I need another 6 inches. Which is another 3 inches on either side. Which is a lot, according to Hannah. Lemongrass, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it. Let's not take one if you're on the edge. I mean, I'm not on the edge. The thing is that, like, this is one of these, like, don't do as I do moments. I drink so often. This isn't a flex. I drink so often that, like, I don't really notice when I'm getting drunk anymore. So for me, the precipice is steep. Shout out to to lemongrass. Bacon scented candles. Actually, I have bacon bitters that are, I think, probably poisonous. Let me see if they still taste like anything. Yeah, here we go. So the label is from an old bottle of. I'm shaking it because they're homemade. They were originally rosemary, grapefruit, peppercorn bitters, and I'm not going to be able to get this close enough to a Twitch camera, unfortunately, but you can read at the bottom. We've decided to call this one Bacon Napalm. It's made from a bacon shrub that we did first. You can't actually have bacon in many kinds of alcohol-related things because if you don't somehow strip the grease and the oil content, it will naturally separate out from everything else. That's another reason I shook it. It's like it's like Hawaiian pizza extract. There's also the reason the napalm, the reason that's in the name is because another one of the ingredients were Thai chili peppers. I didn't make this. Quick disclaimer. This was a gift from my friend Blaine. Lemongrass and bacon cocktail sounds difficult to make work. No, I mean you would just make like some version of like a Bloody Mary. It just wouldn't be a tomato-based Bloody Mary. It sounds like it'd probably be more like a cream of celery-based Bloody Mary. In spirit, not like obviously you need tomatoes and radishes and all that nonsense to make Bloody Marys. You should have those things, or you should have Bloody Mary mix that has those things. I am saying you could make another savory cocktail that does the same thing a Bloody Mary does, with celery instead of tomatoes. I was gonna say that's the reaction I expected from bacon napalm. I'm not gonna taste it, not for free. Oh, here we go. Okay, I lied, my tequila is open. But I didn't open it. John Luke! John Luke's my brother's name. You guys probably don't know that. He lives here, so sometimes he does partake, which is fine with me. He's also like the main person that I have here on camera with me most of the time, or he used to before our schedules got all in conflict, but he may be here later, potentially. He's at the gym right now. I don't want to dirty another shot glass, so bear with me. Ideally, you want to get it all in the glass. Sup? What's up, man? Hair tutorial. Yeah, one of the people on TikTok chat is asking for a hair tutorial from Lemongrass. It's not gonna be as crazy as you think it is. And also, like, I'm not like a cosmetologist or anything. I don't really understand hair. I've just had my hair for a very long time. I've never bleached it or changed the color or done anything really. I've never even technically shaved it. I've buzzed all of my hair off twice before. So like the structure of my hair has never changed. So I've had a lot of time to figure out how to do this right. So now I just wash it with like hydrating shampoo and then conditioner, and that's it. If I'm feeling adventurous or like I'm trying to treat myself, I'll take a tablespoon of coconut oil and I'll heat it up with like a it's gonna sound really dumb, but I'll put it in front of like a heat dish, like one of those things that you like a space heater. I'll take the jar of coconut oil and set it in front of there until the jar is melted, which doesn't take very long. And then I'll take a tablespoon, scoop it in there, put it in my hand, and then just work it up into my hair. Let that sit for an hour, and then wash your hair the way you normally do. Let it dry, put it up in the towel wrap, since I've done, for some reason, an explanation on how to do that, which I didn't think I'd ever have to do. And once it's, you let that sit for 20 to 30 minutes, and I guess it's more complicated than I thought. I do put some effort into my hair. After 20 to 30 minutes, you take it off while it's still damp, put any product in it that you want in it, and then when it's dry, work another tablespoon of that coconut oil in there just to help it sort of like fluff back up. So for like, I washed my hair today, and normally if I don't do all of that oil before and after, my hair would look like it's already kind of looking floofy. It would look a lot worse. Any tips for balding? No. Am I? Y'all, never mind. Don't mess with me. Someone in chat is gonna be like, yeah, man, you've got this huge bald spot, and I'm never gonna know. I can't look up there. So technically, you developed the towel wrap yourself, but it did need explaining. I don't know. Like, I just did the thing where you fold it up in the back, once. And Hannah pointed it out. She was like, "Oh, I've never thought of doing that before." But I don't know. I just thought that's a thing that everybody did, but apparently not. Apparently some people do it. Somebody in the comment section on that video was like, "Dude, everybody does this." And I was like, if you bothered to scroll past your own comment, you would see that no, that's in fact not true. I'm 21 and got unlucky genes. Hey man, it depends what you do with them. It's not the size of the genes. I know that's not the correct use of genes. I mean, my genes aren't stellar either. You can see I have gray hair right there. That's not the light. I mean, it is the light bouncing off of my hair. That's how you can see it. But that's not like my hair, like, catching the light. Those are white hairs. They're all up in here. But here's what I'm gonna do. Right when my hair is about to go fully gray or fully white or whatever it's gonna do, then I'm gonna start using purple shampoo. I'm just gonna color treat it. I'm gonna cut it short and grow out my beard, and I'm just gonna be a completely different person. I will no longer be Coin. I will be Icon, and I will be absolutely full of myself the entire time. That's me channeling my inner Ansley Hutchinson? She'd kill me. I follow her on Instagram. I don't actually know her last name. You have great jeans. Joke's on you, I'm wearing slacks. No, I'm kidding. My coworker called me a werewolf. I got called a vampire a lot when I was a barista. I was, believe it or not, more pale than I am now. Anyway, guys, we missed the shot 30 by about 13 minutes. Which was entirely an accident and not at all by my design. But raise them if you got them. You don't have to have a glass. And if you do have a glass, you do not have to have alcohol in it. But thank you all for tuning in. Here's to you. Cheers. Davey, if you're not following this guy already, if you want someone who's like really into not sugar coating stuff in the service industry, I would recommend following Davey Francis, Davey Francis. I think it's all one word. He's the guy that I got the phrase, "We serve guests, not drinks." That guy. I got that from him. I got it from a video where he was, I think, I don't remember specifically, but he was like retorting something that I said. He took the video down. I talked to him and he kind of just missed the point of the original video. But I highly recommend following him for sure. He made this really good point about like at a certain point when you're a bartender, especially if you're tasting your own cocktails, you don't really like or dislike anything anymore, that's more the function of like why I don't like wince and I don't go like when I taste things. I'm so academic and clinical about what's happening in a glass that I don't really oftentimes notice whether I like it or not. I have to work in 4 hours. Hey man, get some sleep. Thank you for tuning in, I appreciate it. But get some sleep, get some rest, and good luck at work. Do you have a high alcohol tolerance? I do. I don't know where that question's leading. I mean, it's a yes or no question. Yes, I do, but I'm also not going to tell you guys how much I have to drink in a day. For reference, safely, and actually to preface this, the reason I don't tell people how much I drink every day is because I don't want anyone to think that that's an acceptable threshold, or worse, a goal. It's a bad habit that I got myself into just over years of being in the service industry and having like easy access to so many things. It's been a lot harder now that people send me stuff for free. But yeah, I had drinks plural before I went live, and I've been live for about an hour and a half, and you guys have seen me make A cocktail and take 3 shots. Or did I make 2 cocktails? No, I think I only made 1. For some reason I thought I'd made some sort of like old-fashioned nonsense. But no, I think I just made the espresso martini. And I've had 3 shots. Don't do as I do. That should be enough. That you shouldn't even do that. But like, I get paid to do this. I'm on camera. I don't know. I don't know how to be a good example sometimes. Sometimes I'm the same with music, too busy analyzing how it sounds rather than enjoying it. I feel that sometimes with music. I'll list like, unless something just like hits me suddenly. Like that song by Lawrence that's been on the radio recently. Or it's in a commercial. I can't remember what it's called. Is it called Don't Get It? Trying to remember the lyrics. It's not going to come to me. Thank you, Lilith. 1 cocktail, but you did think very hard about making an old-fashioned. Yes, that's true. I think I even had I had a dirty rocks glass out here, and I think like my terrible ADHD object permanence was just like, I guess I drank that. What are your favorite shoes to wear when working a full shift on your feet? The joke answer to this is that I'm barefoot right now, but also this is my bar. This is a studio bar. I don't serve guests here, which is why I don't care when there's like a fly and that I don't cap my bottles. When I'm at work, I typically, it depends. For a very long time, I wore these shoes from Johnston and Murphy called the XC4 or XC3, I think, which is like, it's a line of shoes that they have that are like non-slip and like cushioned insoles and stuff like that. Very good for the service industry. Also, you could get them in the, I think it's called a Chelsea boot, the one that you can just kind of like pull on with one hand. I wore those for a very long time. Eventually, I did get Doc Martens, which ended up being the ones that I wore to work most often. The reason I don't immediately recommend those is because it takes forever to wear them in. And there are some shortcuts, like you can use the plastic bag in the freezer nonsense to break them in. But there's nothing like just being on your feet to break them in. And there's nothing worse than trying to break them in like 12-hour intervals while you're standing behind the bar having to sprint around to serve 24 people who can't remember your name. So that's not typically what I recommend first. Just anything that you can slip on really quickly that has a cushioned insole so that you can support your back and support your heels and prevent plantar fasciitis. And really that's about it. And non-slip. And even depending on where you work, some places will be very lax about whether or not your shoes are non-slip. They shouldn't be. I never actually busted my ass at the bar so far. Ever dealt with ache? Yeah, wait, hold on. What was the one drink that took the longest to get used to? The heels are horrible. That's true, yeah. I have insoles. I have like extra insoles in my Doc Martens, which I took out when I stopped bartending at my old bar because I stopped wearing my Doc Martens and I didn't need them to be in there. And they're a pain to put on because they're so, anyway, sorry. They're so like form-fitting. They like hug your feet so they can be suffocating if it's too tight in there. I don't know if that's supposed to be ache or acne, but yeah, I've definitely had plenty of aches around the bar. The worst came from, and this is a really good advice for anyone who's like doing a lot of cocktails, like cocktails for volume, mix up your shakes. So I did this on my last live stream, so forgive me for iterating on this. See? That's a callback to a joke I made on TikTok. So if you have 2 shakers, which typically if you're working in like a craft cocktail volume setting, you can be shaking 2 cocktails at once. What I ended up doing, I was very ambitious when I started as a bartender. Within 2 months, I decided unilaterally that I needed to know how to shake 2 cocktails at once. And I didn't want to look like I was sucking 2 dicks. So what I decided to do instead was a technique that I think I saw Bad Birdie do first, and she was doing it with cobbler shakers. But putting them both on one side and then shaking up and down. And then my signature move or whatever, if you want to call it that, is using your hips on your back pull to throw the ice backwards to kind of get a little bit more momentum, and then you throw it forward again. So it looks like that. It's a lot louder when there's ice in there. But the problem was, because I was doing the same shake over and over and over again, I got tennis elbow in both of my elbows. I got tennis elbow in both of my elbows and tendonitis all the way up both of my forearms, because I was using the same muscles and the same tendons over and over and over and over again, percussively, like shaking the hell out of them. So that sucked. I had to wear compression wraps and like braces and stuff while I was at work, which obviously doesn't make you faster at your job. There were, I think, 2 nights when my general manager, I think at the time was Jacob, different Jacob, I know lots of Jacobs, was like, hey, like, do you need to go home? And I was like, no, it's fine, it's just pain. Which is probably not what he wanted to hear. You probably go way harder than you need to. Well, we have terrible ice. So the rule of thumb is, the better your ice is, the less you need to shake it in terms of both speed and intensity. If you have really terrible ice that like chips and cracks and breaks really easily, like if you have like shard ice or any ice that isn't like symmetrical, then you want to shake it quickly and hard and fast, pretty much. Because those pieces will break apart very quickly. So if you do shake it for your typical like 12 to 15 seconds or whatever people normally do, it'll over dilute very quickly, and it's not going to get much colder. The bigger your ice, the more symmetrical your ice, the more pure your ice, the less intense and the less quickly you need to shake it. So that's when you'll see people go like, and they'll just keep that smooth rhythm for that 12 to 15 seconds and then break it apart. So like if you're doing it slowly, that's this. If you're doing it quickly,
I just hit boom.
all right, hopefully that makes sense for everybody. But yeah, it's definitely worth your time to learn more than one way to shake your shakers. J/, welcome. Also, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it. Have you ever had to break up a bar fight or argument? No, not exactly. I mean, like, I've never had to call the police. The most that I've had to do was, like, walk up to a guy and just, like, and this happened maybe 3 times. But, part of being a good bartender is knowing when these situations are probably about to come up and coming and addressing them ahead of time before they blow up and actually turn into full-blown, snafus or whatever, I don't know, arguments, fights. Before that happens, like, if you're really paying attention and you're doing your job well, you should be able to go over there and kind of address it, or get somebody to go over there and address it. So the most I've ever had to do, and this was really only on 3 occasions, was like walk up to a guy. 2 of these times it was a guy hassling women sitting at the bar, but just I just walked up and I was like, "Hey man, can I get you a drink?" And for some reason that was enough, and they just left after that. Which is maybe not something, I'm not bragging about someone not wanting to order a drink for me as a bartender, obviously. But I've never really had it escalate further than, I've had people yell at me and try and argue with me, but that's stupid. That's what bouncers are for, but if you can easily de-escalate a situation, then that's good. That's true, yeah. Typically, if you're working like a higher volume setting, or you're in a club, there's a lot of like non-verbal and like glancing and stuff that you have to do, or like grab your bar back and tell them like, "Hey man, can you like grab the GM, tell them we're about to have a situation over on table 1 or bar seat 14 or whatever have you." Frederico, hey, thank you for the resub. I appreciate it. Grats on 2 months. That means that you get the platinum badge in chat now, I believe. So, oh no, you get the gold? Yeah, no, you get the platinum badge. That's correct. Any tips on honing the 4 count accuracy? Yeah, so really you count in half. complicated. So there's this weird rumor that spread like wildfire that it's 4 seconds to an ounce, which is not true. It's about 4.5 seconds. So it's about 2 seconds to an ounce. So if you think about it, you're not counting in time, you're counting in meter. So you're not going like 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's an ounce. Aside from that, the only thing you can do is try and test yourself by grabbing... I don't have any water in any of these, so I don't want to do it. But you can grab like a separate vessel, and you speed pour into that to count, and then pour that into some other measuring vessel so that you can get your timing down. Davies tested this. In his opinion, about 118 beats per minute is like the ideal counting time, and each beat is a 1/4 ounce. So if you're measuring in ounces, it's very helpful. If you're doing it in metric, then it's not going to be super reliable. You're so cool. Thank you. I try, but I'm mostly just here to educate. I don't think I am privileged to any of the knowledge that I have. I think everyone should have it. Have you taught your daughter how to make a margarita yet? It would be remarkable if I did, and if I had, she'd be in the news because she's 16 months old. No, but I do have fun when I make her formula every once in a while. Throw the bottle behind my back. Not accidentally almost hitting her in the head one time. Not my proudest moment. Help! I'm at school! What subject? What do you mean, help? Why are you on TikTok? But also, don't leave. Ever been to an Irish bar in Ireland? Nope. No, I haven't. I've actually never been to Ireland, in fact. The closest I've been is Berkshire, which is it's the part of the UK that I was born in. Nastiest encounter you've ever had with a customer from J Slush. The worst encounter I've ever had with a customer, this is going to come as no surprise, was one of the first times I was ever trying to cut somebody off. I want to say this might end up being like the 4th time I've told this story on a live stream, so I'll try and be brief. One of my old regulars, I never saw him after this night, so he either died or he just decided to never come back. He came into the bar with 5 of his friends. So there were 6 of them total. So they came into the bar, threw the door open, like sauntered into the bar, like 2 of his friends are hanging on each other. There's another one who like can't let go of the door. My regular is having the time of his life. So I see this from behind the bar, and I get a look from the hostess, and so he's my regular, so I come out from behind the bar, and I'm like, hey, so-and-so, what's up? It looks like you guys are having a good time. What are you celebrating? And he goes, oh man, thanks so much for asking. You know, today's my birthday. And I'm like, oh, happy birthday. And I'm like looking at his friends, trying to appraise whether maybe they have a designated driver or there's somebody like a mom figure, someone who can take care of them, anyone who will at least acknowledge that I am there. Nope, no signs of intelligent life whatsoever. And then, my regular, and I love my regulars, he did something that no one had ever done to me before at the bar. He reached his arm around my shoulder and grabbed my other shoulder, which for me was incredibly jarring. It's something that if it had happened like a year afterwards, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. I was really uncomfortable by it at the time. And so I was like, yeah, why don't I sit you guys outside? Getting 6 of you at the bar, you know, it's going to be kind of hard if you want to talk to somebody, your friend, at the end of the bar. And he goes, yeah, thanks, man. As long as you're still making our drinks or whatever. So they go outside. Their server, I told her, like, hey, they can have 1 round because he's my regular. And then we got to cut him off. So she serves them 1 round. And then she's like, hey, I don't feel comfortable cutting them off. So I told them to sit inside and that you would take care of them. And I go, that's crazy, because I didn't know you were my boss. Jess, I love you. You made the right call. So they came inside, they sat in the corner, and I go up to them again to take their order. And I'm looking around. I'm looking for someone to finish a sentence to not slur at least one word, and to make eye contact with me. Nope. Everyone is just like laid back in their seats, like holding on to each other or like hunched over their table. So I came up to them and I was like, hey guys, what's up? I'd really like to get you all some food, if that's okay. What can I get for you? And so they ordered like 2 flatbreads and some bruschetta and some other stuff. And they started to order drinks, and I go, hey guys, I'm really glad you decided to come here to celebrate your birthday, but unfortunately, like, I can't really serve you any more alcohol. Like, it kind of looked like you may have been drunk when you walked in, or it looked like you had been drinking when you walked in. And my regular, God bless him, I'm sure he's a fine gentleman, he turns to me and he goes, oh, we weren't just drinking, we were doing some other stuff too. Ha ha ha. Which you should never tell your bartender, because at that point there was no way I was legally going to serve them. So I was like, yeah, I can't serve you anymore then. Like, I kind of just wish you hadn't have told me that. I absolutely can't continue to serve you. I want to make sure you can go get home or make it to the next bar if you're going somewhere else. And he was like, oh yeah, man, I appreciate that. Can we still get the food? Like, fully amicable at first. So I'm like, yeah, great. I'll get your food in. We'll refill your waters. We'll make sure you're in tip-top shape before you head out and go wherever you're going. And then I'm putting their food in, and before I send it, if you're not in the industry, sending tickets is just when you send the order to wherever it's going, it gets printed out, and whoever is supposed to make the drink or the food, they know what they're supposed to make. So before I send the order, I'm putting everything in. My regular walks up next to me and starts yelling at me about how, like, I've never been kicked out of a bar before, and I go, okay, cool. So here's the good news. I'm not kicking you out. No one's kicked you out. I just can't serve you any more alcohol. And he was like, oh, I've had way more to drink before. And so anyway, eventually it devolved into him like shouting at me in the face, like this close to me. And I was just like, I mean, I work here. And these are my regulars at the bar watching this go down. You can try to do something if you really, really want to. But no, nothing happened. Nothing physical happened. He just yelled at me. I deleted his food. He closed out. He tipped. I think he's probably a good person. Just really bad timing for him, unfortunately, and really unfortunate that it happened on his birthday. So shit happens. I just sent 1.8 thousand likes. How do you can send more than one like? Go away notifications. There we go. I bet he feels really bad, and that's why he didn't come back. I mean, yeah, that's best case scenario, right? Because the alternative is that he didn't make it home. I would rather that he just decided that I was a dick and decided to never come back. Props to you for keeping a cool head. That's there's a certain point when you have to like really embrace the fact that there are certain things that are out of your control. Like, there was nothing I could do for this guy, even though I considered him a friend. There was nothing at all that I could do safely. There's another time that comes to mind. When I was still a barista, this guy came into the coffee shop, and he's waiting in line. He's by himself. He looks kind of like a businessman. And he seems like he's in a hurry. He's like the third person in line. I help somebody, I make a drink. My coworker helps somebody, she makes their drink, and then I'm up on the register. I'm taking this guy's order, and I go, hey, how's it going? And he just goes, I want a double shot Americano in a small cup. And I go, okay, would you like room for cream? And he's like, what? Would you like room for cream in your Americano? Were you going to add cream? There's cream behind you. We don't add it behind the bar, so I just need to know if you need room. And he goes, yeah. Just a double shot Americano in a small cup with room. And I'm like, okay, all right, that's going to be $2.25. Or no, it was more than that because it's an extra shot. So I turn around, I'm pulling his shot, and I'm getting the hot water for his Americano in a separate cup. I turn around while the cup is still half full, because I don't know how much cream he's going to add. And I ask him, hey man, you had the Americano, right? And he's like, yeah. And I go, is this, like, are you gonna have enough cream when I add the shot? And I think maybe he had a Bluetooth earbud in or something, or it's entirely possible that he might have been hard of hearing, but he was just like, he's looking at this cup of water, and he goes, I asked for a small Americano with a double shot. And I'm like, yes, sir, I understand that. I'm making your Americano. I'm asking you, if I add the espresso right now, are you going to have enough cream? Because I don't want you to have to pour any of the coffee out. And he goes, oh. And he, like, I think it dawned on him that he was causing a scene because everyone else there, most of the other people in the coffee shop work nearby, so they all know me, and none of us know who this guy is. And he was just like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I grabbed the double shot from behind me, poured it on top of his Americano, and put a lid on it. And there were like 3 people who watched that happen who were like, dude, I don't know how you didn't just throw that in his face. And the reason I didn't is because it was 190 degrees, which would be the scalding temperature of human skin. So that would have been a poor decision on my part. But anyway, what product do you use in your hair? Apathy. No, coconut oil mostly. We were talking about this earlier. And yeah, that's a really important thing that my mom actually taught me when I was growing up. We would see people, it happened a lot when we were driving, and my brother and I would get frustrated with like people doing stupid things on the road, which is like, it's very bizarre for like children to have road rage, but we definitely did. And so at one point my mom was like, look, you can't criticize them. You don't know them. You don't know what they're going through. Maybe they're driving and they just got a call saying that their mother died or whatever. And which isn't, John Luke's here now, but he can tell you this. That's an example we've used against our mother since that moment. But yeah, it's one of those things, like whenever there's something like that happening, there's got to be something else going on that you're just not aware of. And sometimes it's drugs. Hey, there's John Luke.
Directly to TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook.
We're everywhere, bro.
Okay.
This is John Luke. That's my brother.
Hello, TikTok. Look at that. There's
And
like,
this is the Mead.
there's a big, like, 40-inch flat screen right behind this tiny little phone.
It's a big phone. It's like 4 inches. That's big. Right, Hannah?
All depends on who you're asking.
Lilith says hi, by the way.
Lilith.
Yeah.
Hey, Lilith. Hey, long time no see.
Boom, camera 1. There's John Luke. That's a better look at him. Hello. It's a handsome lad right there. And he's single
Oh, jeez.
and fertile.
I hope so. What is the best way to cut someone off?
It's a step-by-step process, and it really depends on where you're working. In general, I approach the table, I offer them food first, and then if they try to order, I basically tell them like, hey, I let them know what I can't do and what I can do. So if they try and order liquor after I've recommended that they order food, then I'll tell them, hey, I can't serve you any alcohol right now. I want to and then I'll tell them, I'll try and redirect them back to the food and tell them like, I'd really like to make sure that you get something to eat, and that, you know, you can drink some water, and then maybe in a little while we can talk about having another drink. And then if they push it any further than that, I just kick them out. 3-step process.
You want to take a shot?
I will take a shot, but that's going to be the end of the live stream.
Yeah. Just because I'm here. That's it.
Oh, do you want to smell this mead really quick?
Yes.
It smells so good.
Does it?
Sam, if you're watching this, I know I'm not supposed to do this. It's okay. I'm drinking this and no one else. Smell it.
It does smell really good.
I'm proud of myself. I did a good thing. Here's my shot glass. I don't know if you want to grab one for yourself. Sure. We will do shots of tequila. Top left. Yeah, please, let's not do shots of vanilla vodka.
Stoli tequila.
It's not wine. Why are you holding it like that? What's your other hand doing?
It's in my pocket.
Suspicious.
Oh, I don't, dude. It's literally just. I just drove the whole way like that. That's even more suspicious.
As long as it's not in your back pocket, that'd be weird.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, everyone. TikTok, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, that's everybody. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. I do appreciate it. Thanks for, thank you for all of your help and support. Hopefully, we've been helpful and supportive for you all as well, since that's why I do everything that I do here. Our next live stream is going to be, if it snows tomorrow, it's going to be tomorrow. Don't bank on it. Get it? Snow bank? I make dad jokes. We may live stream tomorrow, but the next planned live stream is not going to be until, I'm going to say Monday at 7 p.m. EST, and that's also going to be a bar live stream. And fun fact, Monday or Tuesday next week, we're brewing the 2 gallons of golden ale. Are you free either of those 2 days?
What days?
Monday and Tuesday.
No. I used to be off on Mondays. I now work on Mondays. I'm off on Fridays and Sundays.
Well, I'm gonna talk to Jean-Luc about it because that is like one tiny part of like a huge project that I want to make sure Jean-Luc is a part of later on. But once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we see you in the next live stream. Until then, be good, be kind, be helpful, and I'll see you all later. Good night, everybody. Aha! Bonus content. No, I'm kidding. Good night. Good night, guys.